Thank you. Welcome to tonight's Parent Forum. We are excited to share in this unique opportunity to share our parental perspectives with preparing our children for academic success on various topics such as encouragement, planning and positioning, non-traditional career paths, navigating challenges, setting goals, investing in our children's future. We will engage in audience feedback throughout this evening, and we encourage you to be active participants, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome, everyone. Hope everyone's well. Empower My Hood would like to inspire you with some educational quotes from some of our famous African-American leaders. Our leaders say, "We come from different backgrounds, but we were raised with the same values: hard work, honesty, decency, a belief that we all have a responsibility to look out for one another." Kamala Harris. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. Malcolm X. There is no magic to achievement. It's really about hard work, choices, and persistence. Michelle Obama. And in the words of the great Colin Powell, who is no longer with us, but will never be forgotten, there are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Education is the key to unlocking the world, a passport to freedom. Oprah Winfrey.
Good evening, everyone. The purpose of our parent forum tonight is in supporting resilience, preparing your child for college in today's uncertain times, and to collectively usher in the mindset of academic preparation. EMH Incorporated is a catalyst for change. We intend to work to bring the necessary educational services directly to youth in our communities. Our goal is simple: to help aid our underrepresented scholars with their academic development, enabling them to secure higher educational opportunities. Through guided conversations, this series will address the unique challenges that parents of middle and high school age children experience. Despite the unprecedented economic and social justice disparities we face today, our aim is to aid parents in preparing their children for college and a successful future. This EMH Incorporated sponsored event will provide a space to share and connect with other parents with like-minded visions and goals for their children's academic preparedness. In addition, we will find ways to tailor your common yet unique situation towards an achievable outcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayana Cole-Price. I am the founder of Empower My Hood and also a plastic surgery resident at the University of Michigan. I wanted to take the time to introduce you all to our amazing moderator, Ms. Shania Patterson. So I'll tell you a little bit about Shania. She is probably one of the most amazing people I've ever met. So I'm really excited that she's moderating our event tonight. So Shania earned her bachelor's degree her bachelor's of science in psychology from the City College of New York in 2015, followed by her master's in education from the school psychologist and advanced certificate from the school psychologist from Brooklyn College in 2020 and 2021, respectively. She became a New York State board certified school psychologist in 2021 and currently works in a middle school in Long Island. She's held a variety of leadership roles that reflect her passions for school psychology and secondary education. Shania is involved in many organizations that have aimed at giving back to her community, such as her high school alumni group. She's passionate about education, tutoring, mental health, social justice, and dismantling the school to prison pipeline. I also want to wish Shania a happy National School Psychologist Week as well. So I'll let you guys hear a few words from our amazing moderator for this evening.
Thank you so much, Ayana. I really appreciate your work. It means a lot. Thank you. So hi, everyone. My name is Shania Patterson. I'm the Director of Education of Empower My Hood. I am a psychologist and I serve a middle school in Long Island. A little bit about my college and career journey. I attended City College. I started out as a pre-med major, and then I took organic chemistry, and some things changed, but it's okay for your plan A to not work out in pursuit of plan B. And I didn't know that plan B would end up being the best option for me. I ended up pursuing psychology, and I graduated in 2015 with honors. I took a gap year after college, and I worked in an all-girls middle school in the Bronx. While I worked there, I started to see some learning differences amongst students. I was a secretary there, but I stayed after school many, many hours to tutor girls and making sure that they're achieving success in their classes. When I would tutor them, I started to see some learning differences, and I saw that students benefited from different things such as visual objects, audio, and manipulatives. And I wondered if there was some type of discipline that explored these things, how to make sure that students are getting what they need to succeed in the classroom. And I ended up finding out about school psychology. I graduated with my master's in 2020 and my advanced certificate in 2021. And as I said, I currently serve a school in Long Island, a middle school serving 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. My parents were my biggest supporters on my journey through all the ups and downs and the changes in direction. And something that I learned from them is staying the course. So even though things got a little rocky when I changed, from pre-med to school psychology, they were always my biggest supporters. And when they saw how happy I was, they knew that this was the journey meant for me. So that's the biggest thing I learned from my parents.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Delani Plummer, and I'm the Director of Advocacy for Empower My Hood. Before we get started with today's event, we would like to acknowledge and welcome our local elected officials. So we'd first like to welcome Councilman Danique Miller. Councilman Danique Miller serves the Council District of 27, which includes all of Southeast Queens, including Cambria Heights, St. Albans, Jamaica, Springfield Gardens, and I believe that's it, sorry. And Hollis, excuse me. So welcome, Councilman Danique Miller.
Thank you so very much. It's an honor to be here with you, to join you tonight. Peace and blessings, family. And thank you for taking your time to be a part of such an important conversation. And certainly, most certainly, thank you to our veterans for the service to our country, allowing us to enjoy the freedoms that we enjoy, and most importantly, thank you to our local veterans of color who don't get the recognitions that they deserve, that have come home to this country and faced discrimination through World War II's, Korean, Vietnam Wars, and continue to do so. So thank you for your service, and we stand with you. Thank you to Empower My Hood for holding this forum, for being a part of this for the partnership, and most importantly for excuse me, for answering the call. Answering the call of your community's needs. Oftentimes, we say that it is public discourse that creates public policy, and a lot that we'll talk about that will be discussed this evening is what parents, is what community often discuss. How do we support our young scholars in their educational experiences and beyond? That dialogue is certainly something that is worthy of conversation, but it is also based on this organization and their successes and doing probably what is the most difficult job that any parent will ever have, which is raising children and raising children successfully. whatever that matrix is, right? And certainly based on the young professionals that are in the room this evening, they accomplished that. But most importantly, based on the folks that are in this room here, that we know that we have raised good human beings and next generation of leaders. That is the conversation that we really want to have. Again, thank you for answering the call and being able to provide your expertise and share your expertise with the community. There are so many folks that, in my experience, and as a member of the council and Pierre will share, just about everywhere we go, someone approaches us and they have a program and they have an idea. They have passion, but oftentimes the passions aren't met with the skill sets that are necessary to service our community at the level that they need to be served. So what do we need to do then? We need to harness that. We need to attach them to an Empower My Hood and other community-based organizations that have actually done the work or willing to do the work and willing to share their experience. And what Empower My Hood has done so well is what we see in the end product, and that is the attention to detail, which meant that they were willing to invest in this organization and capacity building, do the trainings and things that were absolutely necessary to deliver the services that will have the benefit of this evening. So I want to thank you all for that. I want to thank you for the phenomenal work that you have done with our young leaders of tomorrow, of today and tomorrow. And we look forward to the continuance of this partnership. I'm not going anywhere. Still be in the community, serving, if you have a spot on the board, perhaps I could share just a small bit of what I have to offer, or add a small bit to the great work that you guys are already doing. But for the members of the community here, just please pay attention. This is a great resource. This is available to you tonight. These men and women and young men and women and their parents have really poured into this community, and I think that we all receiving the fruits of the work that they have done. And so once again, I'm proud to have been able to support Empower My Hood over their years and in their infancy and to what we see today. And I know that the work will continue to grow and it will continue to have the support from this office and from my successor, Councilmember Natasha Williams will continue to be supportive. And quite frankly, I think that her journey, her experience is really parallel to the work that happens at Empower My Hood. And so I'm sure that it will certainly be embraced. And I look forward to working with her to ensure that this organization continues to grow and that we continue to invest and pour into our young scholars and their next experiences. So with that being said, I don't know if Councilmember-elect is available. If so, Natasha, is she in the room? Welcome, Natasha. And I'm sure she will make herself available whenever Empower My Hood calls. So with that, I'll just pass it back. And thank you for allowing me to say a few words and bring greetings to this phenomenal group and to the members. And I'm sure that there are families and parents beyond the 27th Council District that are waiting to take advantage of all that Empower My Hood has to offer, these great resources. So I want to kick it back and thank you so much for allowing me to say a few words. And as we always say here in Southeast Queens, it is the teamwork that makes the dream work. Each and one of you have been an integral part of this team. Thank you for always answering the call. Peace and blessings.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your words and all of your support, Councilman Miller. So I'm going to be introducing our panelists and their special guests for tonight. If our panelists can wave when I say your name, we have Ms. Bobby D. Cole, Chief Executive Officer of Empower My Hood. We have Diane Plummer, General Manager of Empower My Hood. Pierre A. Williams Miller, Board Member of Empower My Hood. Natasha Joe Saint, Board Member of Empower My Hood. Aaron McKissick, Board Member of Empower My Hood. Karen Rogers Bullock, Board Member of Empower My Hood. We also have their special guests. Some are with us and some are not able to join us. We have Dr. Ayanna Cole-Price, Chief Operation Officer of Empower My Hood. We have Delani Plummer, Esquire, Director of Advocacy of Empower My Hood. We have Jade Mackey, Director of Community Outreach for Empower My Hood. We have Jana Josaint, Esquire, Director of Community Advocacy of Empower My Hood. Robert McKissick, who achieved his Bachelor of Arts in Broadcast Communication. And Chelsea Perrin, who is a professional dancer for the New York Nets. Tonight, you're going to hear a few words from my EMH colleagues on how they persevered through their college and career journeys. You're also going to hear some tips and words of wisdom from our board members. So to get us started, we want you to join our word cloud here. So when you think about your child's education, what is one word that comes to mind? If you scan the QR code on the left side of your screen, your results will populate here in the slideshow. So I'll give you about 30 to 45 seconds. Scan the QR code and type in your answer. Okay, I see we have some answers coming in. Finances, future, success, passion. Let's keep them coming. Expensive. Finances is becoming a big one. Diversity, cost, stability, limitations. Cost, finances, and diversity is seeming to be the top choices here. All right, thank you everybody for your answers. So it seems that success is the top word that comes to mind here. Also, other top words included diversity, finances, determination, and cost. This will not be the only slide for the night or poll of the night where you're going to get involved. So make sure you're watching out because we're going to have some other questions for you. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind everybody, as we're going through this presentation, if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to write them in the chat. We have a Q&A portion, if time allows, that we'll get to at the end of our presentation for tonight. So please make sure you drop your questions in the chat and we will do our best to address them during the Q&A portion. So on our first topic of tonight is encouragement sweetens labor. Ms. Diane Plummer, who is the General Manager of Empower My Hood, is going to answer, how can you encourage your child early on to keep your child focused on their goals and enhance their educational achievements? Let's listen to the words of wisdom Ms. Diane has to say. Ms. Diane, don't forget to unmute.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diane Plummer, as our moderator stated. A wise woman, my mother, would always tell me encouragement sweetens labor. I know now what she meant. Encouraging words, a pat on the back, or kudos motivates one to work hard. Begin encouraging your child at an early age. Teach them that hard work pays off. If you study, you do your homework, you complete your assignment, it reflects in your passing classes and being promoted to the next grade. Apply real world situations. Work hard, you get a promotion and possibly a raise. As a way of reinforcing this, I used positive reinforcement, praising or rewarding good behavior and definitely discouraging negative behavior. Rewarding good behavior could be as simple as taking them out to eat at their favorite restaurant, having a sleepover, simply giving a big hug and a kiss, or simply saying, good job. I made it clear that positive or negative has consequences. Remember, please recognize every accomplishment, big and small. Help your child stay focused on their goals. Made it my duty to stay engaged with their schools, their teachers, and their principals. Communication, 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 whether on the way to school, at dinner, or any non-stressful environment. I kept the lines of communication open and it helped to keep the dialogue going. I recall them sharing funny stories with me about what happened at school, or even them telling me what they did in school. For example, I took a test today, it was really hard. Or, you know, mommy, I really didn't understand what the teacher was saying in math. Right away, my mommy mode kicked in. I started to come up with a course of action. Do I talk to the teacher? I have to figure out what's going on, and possibly tutoring for whatever subject they're struggling in. I took every opportunity to try and enhance their educational achievements. We all know our child, so determine what their strengths and their weaknesses are. Don't set unrealistic goals, but continue to challenge them. Involve them in different activities, whether it be sports, dance, or music, just as a way of them decompressing, because kids have stress also. And sometimes we don't recognize that they're also stressed. They may not have the financial stress, but they have stress as well, peer pressure and so on. Attend cultural events or activities, museum, art shows, anything cultural that you can think of that might have them learn more about their culture and integrate more. Remember, give your child the tools they need to become the person that they're capable of being. Thank you, and don't give up on your reward, because at the end of the journey, it's priceless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Diane. Some of the things that I heard when you were speaking included praising good behavior, that accomplishments big and small matter, and making sure that you support your child all the way through. We are here with Delani Plummer, Esquire, who is Miss Diane's daughter, and she's also the Director of Advocacy for Empower My Hood. Delani is a lawyer, and she is one of our success stories. Delani, what is it that your parents told you or instilled in you that helped you throughout your college and career journey?
Thanks, Shania. So first, thank you definitely to my parents for supporting me along my journey. The one thing I would say that they've always mentioned to me is think 10 steps ahead, which would be to find the end goal. What's my end goal and how am I going to get there? And work backwards from there. So for example, how did I want to get to law school? I had to figure out what courses I needed to take, when I needed to take those courses. Another example would be the end goal was a higher education degree, such as a JD. So one of the things my mom mentioned to me was think about how much money you're going to spend on law school, and then decide whether you want to spend that much money on your undergraduate degree. So that was another example. And I kind of use that advice throughout life, throughout my career, which I'm finally starting. And it definitely helps me to always be ahead, thinking backwards, what's my end game and how I'm going to get there. So thank you, Shania.
Thank you, Delani. It's very important to make decisions with your end goal in mind. Now we're going to have Miss Pierre Williams Miller, who is a board member of Empower My Hood, speaking on planning ahead. How can you address your child's academic needs and position them towards a path to success? Ms. Pierre? Don't forget to unmute.
Okay. Thank you so much for introducing this topic. I am so grateful for the opportunity to share with everyone my journey. But first and foremost, I have to say that it's a team that makes the dream work. My husband took that slogan from me for tonight. A phrase that, again, he says all the time. And it is our team that made this work. Because, to say the least, we have a blended family of 7 children. And at one point, we had 4 children in college at the same time. That was a challenge. So tonight, I will briefly share the journey of my 3 girls, Amber, Crystal, and Jade, with you. Now, the question was, how can you address your child's academic needs and position them towards a path to success? It wasn't easy, but we stayed true to the task. Ensure that your child learns multitasking disciplines, incorporating dance, sports, schoolwork, and chores, identifying the schools that meet your child's academic and social needs, and planning ahead, getting organized early on, establishing the timelines to meet those deadlines is so important. It was very early on, from infancy, when I started thinking about my children's academia and what their future would look like, starting with teaching the basics at home, then making sure that we kept up with parental responsibilities like checking homework, attending PTA conferences, staying in the know of their friends and what they were doing on social media, and making sure their extracurricular activities were on schedule. It meant many times sacrificing what I couldn't do to make sure my daughters arrived to school, to their dance rehearsals, tennis lessons, summer camp, church activities, and checking their homework on time. The key words here is on time. Researching best public and private schools of all grade levels and comparing the graduation stats. Scheduling time to meet with guidance counselors, teachers, instructors, or coaches to discuss their successes and failures so that you can address their needs with extra classes or tutoring. Every child is different with different skill sets. Although Amber, Crystal, and Jade received dance instruction at ESOTA together, Crystal chose to pursue dance professionally and is now in the hit Broadway show Hamilton. Amber is a post-associate producer on VH1 shows including Couples Retreat, Love and Hip Hop, Couples Retreat and Love and Hip Hop franchise. And Jade is a litigation paralegal at Covington and Burling LLP. Dance was more than a physical sport or hobby. It was a discipline that exposed and perfected their creative talents as well as released any tension they may have had during the day. It was very long hours where sometimes I complained about, but if I had to do it all over again, I would do it in a heartbeat. Lastly, we didn't dictate what career they should be in. Our children knew they were going to go to college. It wasn't an option not to go. We just prepared them to work hard and control their own destiny. And by setting the foundation, would set the path for a productive career. I'd like to leave you with a quote that we should incorporate in our daily mantra. Those who build are willing to see a reality that hasn't materialized. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Claire, for your words. I heard that grades and extracurricular activities lead to a well-rounded child who turns into a well-rounded student and puts them in a great place to be a future applicant for college and career and beyond. The lessons learned in extracurricular activities such as dance have helped your girls in their passions at the moment. And foundation work is important in setting up your child for success. We are pleased to have Ms. Jade Mackey, who is one of Pierre's fabulous daughters. She is the Director of Community Outreach for Empower My Hood. And as Ms. Pierre said, she is a paralegal and a future lawyer. Ms. Jade, what is it that your parents told you or instilled in you that helped you throughout your college journey?
Thank you, Shania. My parents told me to always do my best, never give up, always finish what you started. I'm now a huge firm believer and never quitting. You know, if I put my mind to something, I always know I'm going to finish it. College was very hard. I was homesick a lot. And I went to school in DC, so I had the opportunity to go back and forth whenever I wanted to. It was only 4.5 hours away, which was great. So I always got to see my parents, my grandparents, my sisters, and that was, you know, a blessing. And I always said if it wasn't for my parents, I don't think I would have survived college. They always was a phone call away. They told me I would cry on the phone. They were just telling me, it's okay, sweetheart, just do your best and keep going. And we're always here for you. So I just always remember, you know, you can do anything you put your mind to and just keep going. So thank you, Mom and Dad.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing. We also, although she wasn't able to join us, we have words from Miss Crystal Mackey, who is another one of Miss Pierre's daughters. Let's listen in to what she felt was the best advice that she's gotten from her parents.
One thing that my parents instilled in me while I was in college was to push past those times where you feel like you can't do it. Things are going to be hard. Life is hard, and you're going to get in college and you're going to feel like you can't do it, or you're going to feel like you've hit like a wall and things are going to get hard. Those are the times where you have to keep pushing. And my parents told me to not give up, never, ever, ever give up. Those times where I wanted to, and their words of telling me to never give up has pushed me to become an even better, stronger person and dancer that I am. And if it wasn't for them, I really, truly would not be where I'm at right now. So if you feel like giving up, if you feel like you can't do it, I promise you, you can. Keep pushing, keep striving to be better, and you're going to make it. Life isn't easy. So once you get past that, you'll be fine.
Wise words indeed. All right, it is time for audience participation. How do you motivate your child for academic success? In a couple of seconds, you will see the poll come up on your screen. If the poll does not come up on your screen, it's okay to type your answers in the chat. Our answer choices for this were punishment, positive reinforcement, or my child is self-motivated. So again, how do you motivate your child for academic success? Is it punishment, positive reinforcement, or my child is self-motivated? If you feel that your answer doesn't fit into one of those three categories, again, feel free to share in the chat. I'm gonna give you all a couple of seconds. How do you motivate your child for academic success? Okay, I see positive reinforcement. I am self-motivated. Encouragement and bribes. Autonomy, self-motivated. All right, thank you all for your answers. We appreciate it. Oh, positive reinforcement. All right, it seems like encouragement and positive reinforcement are the top answers here, as well as being self-motivated and autonomous. We are now going to talk about traditional and non-traditional career paths with Ms. Karen Rogers Bullock. She is also a board member of Empower My Hood. Ms. Karen, how do you support your child with choosing a career that may seem unconventional from a parent's perspective?
Hello, everyone. From my personal experience with college, the traditional majors studied were business administration, communication, psychology, education, and nursing. I knew from an early age that my daughter had a passion for dance, which was the age of 3. So I enrolled her in ESOTA, where she learned discipline and studied various dance styles such as African, jazz, ballet, hip hop, musical theater, and tap. My daughter also had the opportunity to travel to Europe with ESOTA's children's dance company known as KEKTA, to participate in various dance performances as well as experience other dance cultures. She also participated in Ballet Hispanico as well as Alvin Ailey summer intensive programs. My daughter's passion for dance continued to high school, where she actually went to the high school called Frank Sinatra School of the Arts, located in Queens. When it came time to discuss colleges, my daughter definitely wasn't a fan of attending college. So I knew that I had to inspire her with the importance of attending a college and how it could lead to a successful career. So what I did was I focused on my daughter's passion for dance. Together, we researched colleges that offered dance programs. Once she determined what college she was interested in, we visited those colleges that offered dance. I would often support my daughter as well by helping her prepare for her various dance auditions. So my daughter, she actually decided to enroll in college to study dance. And I often wondered, how studying dance in college can lead to a successful career, because this was one career, or should I say one that I thought wasn't really but I felt that this was a non-traditional career path, studying dance. So when my daughter was in college, I actually supported her with through difficult moments that she experienced while attending college, and always offered positive words of encouragement. Up until this day, I still do the same thing. If she's going through a difficult time, I offer words of encouragement. Fast forward, my daughter did graduate from college with a degree in fine arts from Alvin Ailey, Fordham University. Well, now she's actually continuing her passion in a professional capacity as a Brooklyn Nets dancer for the NBA Brooklyn Nets team. And I would like to leave everyone with a quote: "Be humble enough to crawl through the unknown." This quote really spoke to my daughter and I. We both were humble enough to dance through the unknown. She was uncertain about attending college, and I was curious about how in the world could dance lead to a successful career path. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Karen. Dancing is essential, especially when pursuing college and career goals. Sometimes we're not sure of what the path has ahead of us, but we're thankful for our parents who see us through. Chelsea was not able to join us tonight, but she did leave some words of wisdom where she shared what her parents instilled in her that helped her through her college journey. Let's listen in.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. To be quite honest, I am not a fan of college, and I was not a fan of college when I was attending college. However, my parents encouraged me to keep pressing forward, and they supported me throughout my journey, through my hard times, my ups and downs. And that is definitely what helped me get through what I was going through. So if anyone is looking to go to college, just make sure you are 100% sold on what it is that you actually want to do. And maybe, just maybe, your college experience will be great.
We're thankful to Chelsea for her words. We are now going to hear on the topic, Know the Signs, Determine What Works, from Natasha Jo Saint, who is a board member of Empower My Hood. Natasha, with knowing your children's learning ability early on, how do you prepare your child for college despite their educational challenges?
Good evening, everyone. So my journey with my children with school were two different paths. First, I'd like to say that parent participation is so super important. Once your children get into college, you don't have the same access like you did when they were in middle school or high school. You have to go through now your child to see their transcripts, to see what their schedule is, because the colleges are treating them like adults. So it's so important for you to start participating with your children's education from day one. So that way they will know how involved you are and show how much you care. So that way, when they do get to college, you'll have that open line of communication with your child so that you have access to their transcripts and schedules so you can make sure that they're staying on target. My son had a learning difference in school that was identified early on. So he needed a lot of support and services. Whereas my daughter was a very much self-motivated, kind of overachieving student. So it's important for you to know and see what your children's learning differences are so that they can be in the right settings when it comes to college. My son wanted to go to an HBCU. He was very, very determined. So we had to find a school that would still offer the services that he would need to give him the support that would make him successful in college. My daughter, on the other hand, she went to a predominantly white institution on PWI. And that was mainly because of the money that was offered in scholarships and grants. So she had a different type of college setting, but for both, they were in environments that helped them to thrive. So you really need to know what your child's learning styles are, what is available to them, and then picking the right institution for them that's going to suit their needs and help them to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Natasha, for your words. It's really important to take the time to figure out what works, and what works for one student or one child may not work for the other child. Everybody is unique and everybody has different learning styles and different goals in mind. So it's important to understand that a one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work. So thank you for sharing, Ms. Natasha. Ms. Natasha's daughter is Jana Josaint Esquire. She is a lawyer and also our director of community advocacy for Empower My Hood. I know Jana is, oh, she's here. Hi, Jana. So Jana, what is it that your parents told you or instilled in you that helped you throughout your college journey?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jana. So as my mom was saying, that because my brother and I were like such different kids, I was definitely more self-motivated when it came to like my college experience. But my parents still reminded me that it's important to be hardworking, organized, and making sure that you don't have excuses for anything that you do. And kind of having that path will lead to having a lot of opportunities, a lot of success. And it definitely keeps you on top of your A game, because as my mom says, when you're in college and in law school and beyond, you know, once you hit college, they start treating you like an adult. And so it's important to start instilling those values in yourself in high school. However, you know, with all the hard work that you put in, you must still find time to, you know, find balance, take time off to do something fun for yourself. I definitely need to take a page out of my book of taking more time for myself, because now, as I'm starting off my career as a young lawyer, I'm definitely asked to do so much and to just like step up to the plate a lot often, only because that's because of the skills I possess, which is being hardworking and organized and just staying on top of things, which is good and great long term, but just remember to find the balance. So as much as you work hard, also take the same amount of time to, you know, treat yourself, show yourself some self-love and self-care, and watch your hard work basically prosper and grow right before your eyes and lead to your ultimate success.
Thank you so much, Jana. All right, time to hear from our fabulous audience. When it comes to choosing a college major, whose choice is it really? Is it the child or student's choice? Is it the parent's choice? Or is it somebody else's choice? Can you please provide your answers in the chat? When it comes to choosing a college major, whose choice is it really? The student/child, the parents, or somebody or something else? I see student so far. A lot of student answers. Oh, I see it's both the student and parents. More students. Joint decisions are appropriate, but more so student. Student choice / parents' influence, society's influence. All right. Both parent and student, financial aid offers, both team effort. All right. Thank you everyone for contributing to this question. As you can see, once again, we have some common themes, and it's important to remember that as we're going through this presentation and after you leave this presentation, that you're not alone. Okay, we are now going to hear about setting realistic goals from Erin McKissick, who is a board member from Empower My Hood, I'm sorry. Mr. McKissick, how do you approach having a realistic and practical goal-setting conversation with your child early on?
Thank you for having me. Thank everyone for joining us this evening. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that the educational future of our children are at stake. Okay, for some of us, the planning begins in middle school. There are many high schools choices available that may cater to your child's particular interests or needs. Once you determine what these choices are, what these needs are, you can proceed to the high school of your choice. Yeah, then after high school, then it's time to choose the next step in the learning process. For some of us, that may be a traditional college or university. However, we all know that college is not for everyone. So there are other choices. You have trade schools, apprenticeships, and for some of us, even the military is a viable option. You know, my father once told me that being an electrician, a plumber, an auto mechanic are all honorable professions. So I think the next step would be, let's see if your child's a good fit for community college or a four-year institution. You know, at this point, they have an idea of what they're looking to do. You know, it's not a good fit for everyone. However, it's not uncommon for a teenager not to have their future set in stone. You know, if this is the case, maybe a community college may be a good fit. It gives them time to choose a major without losing time in the process, in the learning process. Lastly, I'll touch on going away versus staying home. My personal story is I went away to school and I found it wasn't a good fit for me. So I transferred back home. My son went away to school. He went to Oswego State in the SUNY system. If anyone has ever been up by Syracuse, they know the winters are dark, dank, and cold. But he toughed it out and he stayed, and he changed his major in his junior year. So he was there for 5 years and he was able to get through it. But the thing is, you know who your child is. Your child knows who he is or who they may be. If you know your child is introverted, maybe staying local or closer to home may be a good fit. The flip side of that is, you know, that he's about to indulge in a new adventure, have new experiences, getting to meet others outside of their comfort zone. I believe that all of these are important factors in helping your child find the right path. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aaron. it is true that sometimes what works again for one person, whether it's picking college or a career, doesn't work for another person. There are other options available and they all will get you to your goal. Mr. Robert McKissick, who is Mr. Aaron's son, was not able to join us tonight, but he did leave some wise words for us. Let's listen in to what he has to say.
One thing that my parents had instilled within me to help me get through college was that I was capable of the strength and resilience to keep going, to keep studying, to stay up all night and study for those tests. And they made sure that I knew that I was able and capable of such feats and achievements. They never gave up on me and they never lost hope. And that let me have the same faith in myself.
We're thankful for Robert for his words. And again, it is very important to make sure that your child feels supported, whether it's through the college process, the career process, even in high school, middle school, elementary school. That support speaks volumes and you will see and reap the benefits of it later. Okay, last but not least, we're going to hear from Ms. Bobby D. Cole, who is the CEO of Empower My Hood. She's going to be speaking on investing in your child's future. Ms. Bobby, how do you maintain your household expenses while planning to pay for your child's college education expenses?
Thank you, Shania. Good evening, everyone. Whew, tough question, right? So my experience for preparing my daughter for the college journey required a great deal of faith, prayer, and sacrifice. My priority was to provide a safe and loving home built on that foundation of my religious belief. So being a single parent homeowner in Queens required, again, personal sacrifices, but more so financial disciplines. I had to be forward thinking and determine my end goal, which was, to me, was helping my daughter become the best version of herself while ensuring that she was well-rounded and college ready. I literally took on the role of mom counselor, guidance counselor in school. I was the counselor, actually. So I had a 3-step plan. 1, create a budget to balance my home maintenance expenses and build a savings for college. That was not an easy thing to do by any means. I created a budget and I was persistent and consistent with maintaining it. Some tips that I can offer you is, some of us who receive bonuses at work, that's free money. It wasn't money that was expected. That for me, I immediately saved towards college. I used a 529 plan back in my day, but by any means necessary, an investment or a savings is sufficient. You just need to save something. Tax returns, as a homeowner, when we do get tax returns, some of us, they were directed towards home improvement tasks and oftentimes a rewarding vacation. And this speaks to the encouragement rewards that Ms. Plummer spoke about earlier. They too need to be budgeted as well. My second point is I worked to ensure that my daughter received balance, and this is a key word. She was well-rounded socially and academically, which meant I had to identify extracurricular activities that enhanced her social and academic aptitude. Now, some of these extracurricular activities may not be offered in your immediate school district, which is the challenge I face. We live in District 29, and again, back in 1995, it wasn't strong academically. So I had to go outside of my district to District 26 to educate my daughter. And unfortunately, there were a few students of color in that district. I realized early on that I needed to figure out a way to provide her with a cultural balance. So first and foremost, she attended Sunday school at 3 years old, which was a must. That there was no questions. I was raised in church and always taught to put God first in all that you do. And without question, that's where she started. Then I enrolled her in dance school for some fun activity, or so I thought, but it was, I enrolled her in Ed School of the Arts, and he sort of provided much more than dance, but a cultural and social balance that she was lacking in school. Academics, I needed to enhance, even though I did move her outside the district, I wanted her to maintain the top of her class. So I enrolled her in Kumon. This solidified her math and reading comprehension skills, which are very important at any grade level for a successful student. I enrolled her in summer programs. We just didn't hang out all summer, watch cartoons and hang out till mommy got home from work. I researched programs that were free, quote unquote, but there just was not enough seats. One in particular being the Beacon program in our district, there was not enough seats. I went again outside of my district, I went to Fresh Meadows, but I saw something unique in that district. There was a Beacon program, but there was also a large amount of Asian students that I would see going to a different side of the building. So being curious, I explored, right? And I learned that they were attending Chinese school from 9 a.m. to 12, Monday through Thursday, learning math and reading. Immediately, I wanted to find out how I could replicate that. So I executed a plan. I enrolled her into the Chinese school, that's what it was called, and from 9 to 12. And then 12 o'clock at lunchtime, like everyone else, she came down to the Beacon and she stayed there until the end of the program. So you have to always be forward thinking and say, how can I, replicate and have my child be a strong student? That was a very strong thing that I needed to do. So finally, the point 3, I just consistently maintain my household with budget. I can't say that word enough. And you need to sacrifice your needs versus your wants. So if I could leave you with any thought, it would be, when you look at it, all of this preparation, it's a small investment for a permanent reward. A good education is an investment in your child's future. Don't wait to make that decision or that investment. Make that investment today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bobby. And we can see that your investment has paid and continues to pay off in your daughter, Dr. Ayanna Cole Price, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Empower My Hood. Ayanna, what was it that your parents told you or instilled in you that helped you throughout your college journey?
Hey, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Just like Shania said, I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Empower My Hood. There are a multitude of things that my mom has instilled in me over the journey. And I think a lot of them are kind of combinations of things that everyone else has pretty much said, as well as things that I still carry with me through this day. So there are 3 main points that I just want to make really quick. So the first one is to surround yourself with like-minded people. When your child goes to school, or when you as the student go to school, you are completely thrown into a new environment. Roles are changed, responsibilities are changed, and a lot more is expected of you. So when you gravitate towards people who are genuinely interested in the things that you're interested in, or have a good head on their shoulders, were raised with the same values, the transition point becomes a bit easier. In a sense, you can kind of offload and talk to other people about their experiences, and you can all work collectively together. And I think being in Empower My Hood is a testament to that. All of these amazing women that I've surrounded myself with, we are still friends. We've been friends for quite some time, and we're all on our different career paths, but we all encourage each other and push each other forward. So I think that was definitely something that my mom instilled in me growing up, is to surround yourself with a good group of people, and especially sisterhood. As Black women, it is huge. Secondly, never be afraid to ask for help. I went through a tough time when I was in my first semester of college. I was previously a straight A student in high school, had never gotten anything less than an A, with not minimal effort, but I didn't have to do too much. I studied hard and I worked hard, but things kind of came a little bit naturally. I was blessed with the resources that my mom gave me and provided for me, so that also attributed to that as well. However, when I got to college, I thought that I could use those same study tactics that I used in high school to carry me through, and that was not the case. Additionally, I had a lot of pride, thinking that, this is just one more rodeo that I need to get through, or one more roller coaster, one more obstacle that I need to get through. So a humbling experience was me getting my first C in physics during my first semester, and I realized, I need to ask for help, and I didn't know how to do that. So navigating that appreciating what you feel and understanding that you're not perfect and that, you know, your child is not always going to get straight A's. There might be times where they have their ups and downs. As you as the parent, it's important to recognize that in them. What are the small things that they're doing differently, or what are the stressors on them, or what are the things that you notice in your child that you can pick up on and ask them, you know, do you need help? It's hard for that first time to say, you know what, I'm struggling and I do need a shoulder to lean on, or I do need some guidance, like, Mom, can you help? A lot of times as students, we think that leaving the nest and going to college means that the parent-child relationship is now separate. And it's still a unit at the end of the day. And I think carrying that throughout your journey and through your career and having you as your parent to lean on, I think is extremely important. And then lastly, something that she told me that I brushed off a lot when I was in college. I mean, not a lot while I was in college, but I didn't take it as seriously as I do now, was to network. And I think that goes for parents, and I think that goes for students. I think that goes for anyone that has a desire to obtain some kind of career goal. I think that it's important to learn how to put yourself out there and to learn how to generate your small elevator pitch so that you can convey your ideas and your passions to someone else. It's so important to meet people, just like we're doing in this forum and other forums, and also in person and things like that. There is always someone out there that is a couple steps ahead of you and has been where you are before and can help guide you and lead you. And I think that that sums up what this forum truly is about. And I think having that as a lesson that my mom really did try to instill in me, and it didn't really click until med school really, is another high yield concept for sure.
Thank you so much, Ayana. This is a great way to end this portion of the presentation. So we're not done yet. We actually have our last participation question of the night. What topics are you interested in learning more about? Empower My Hood wants to make sure that we're servicing our community and the people. And we know that there are some topics that you would like us to cover, some more information that you would like to get. So this helps us plan our future events. So if you can scan the QR code on this side and answer our question, what topics are you interested in learning more about? Financial aid. Writing a personal statement. How to select the right college. Scholarship opportunities and college application process. Resources. FAFSA, college internships. These are all great topics. Keep it coming. Support when changing majors. That's a great one. Resources seems to be the #1 answer. College internships. Should I do a minor? How to choose your college. School life balance. Wow, thank you so much, everybody. So these responses were recorded. So when making our future and planning our future events, we're going to make sure we keep these in mind and have events that cater to these topics. All right, now we have our question and answer period. If you have any questions, again, you can put them in the chat. I do have some questions from our form. So our panelists will be answering these questions. The first one that I have, and again, this is to any one of our panelists. How do we encourage more independence and autonomy in our children? How do we encourage students to seek out support services once at college?
I'll take the support question because my son, like I said, had learning differences that he needed support. When he did not do well that first year in college and he was put on academic probation, he was almost forced in a way to seek out services, but yet again, he's still in college and they're not going to force him. So it was just important as a parent that I reminded him of his need, if he wants to succeed, that he's going to need to seek out all of the resources that are available on campus. So as a parent, you just have to remind your child that if they want to do well, if they want to be able to graduate, that they then have to seek out those resources that are there on campus. It's really just a matter of constant communication and encouragement as a parent, and then just pushing that into your child and reminding them.
Thank you, Ms. Natasha. Does any other panelists want to answer the question? How do we encourage more independence and autonomy in our children/students?
Hi, Shania. For autonomy, I would say that, and this is to piggyback off how we started off our workshop tonight, encouragement. Encouraging your child that that they can do it, and that you're right there to catch them, if necessary. But encouraging, pushing them to try things, to get outside of their comfort zone, but also letting them know that it's okay to fail because you learn from failure, right? So just reinforcing that you can do it. It's okay to fail. So you get up, you dust yourself off, and you try again. Don't ever give up, basically. So if we instill that in them, I think that would help.
Thank you, Ms. Bobby. All right, for our, Ms. Pierre, did you want to add to that? I see you unmuted.
Yeah, I wanted to add that, encouraging your children to really get involved in extracurricular activities. The disciplines that were taught through, whether it's sports or music or dance or anything that's outside of the normal day-to-day activities, I thought physical activity I thought was very good, because releasing the tensions of the day or the house, whatever is going on in their lives, whether it's academia or just stress that students get, throughout their lives, releasing that through physical activities is very good, so that they can develop those disciplines to be successful. I mentioned that earlier, but it was a huge part in teaching our daughters, and I want to say all of our 5 daughters and 2 sons together. It played an intricate role in staying balanced. So I just wanted to add that part.
Thank you so much. From the chat, we have a question. How do we encourage students, even in middle school, if they are struggling?
I think I'll tackle this one. Like I said, your children, and you can't place too much on their plate. At the same token, you don't want to baby or coddle them. If they are struggling, you talk it through. Try to figure out, why are you struggling? What exactly is it? Is it the teacher? Is it the subject matter? Is it something that you're going through personally that we need to work through? And sometimes something personal could interfere with their academic performance. And sometimes we as parents don't pick up on cues that maybe the child is going through something, whatever that something is. And so once again, I'm an advocate for communication. You need to talk to your children. You need to watch the signs to see what's going on. Is there any kind of change in behavior, change in attitude, and figure out what's the problem, and then we can tackle it. Is it an academic problem? Is it a personal problem? And then take it from there. Thank you.
Shana, I just want to point out that middle school is where it's where we often lose our children, right? So that's where they find themselves. You know, what the old folks used to say, they smell themselves. That's where it all happens. You know, they find their independence. That is where the parent really needs to monitor, and don't back up too much. Just keep your eye on them. Keep that line of communication open. Know what they're doing. Know how they're behaving in school. You know, check that homework. Don't listen to "I did it already" or "It's already done." You know, so middle school is very important. This is where we begin to shape them and prepare them for life. Because once they get into high school, if you haven't instilled the discipline in them in middle school, they may very well get lost in high school, and we don't want that. So, just wanted to point that out.
Thank you so much. All right, I have a question in the chat. We have, sorry, I have to scroll up. Here we go. Okay. All my guidance counselors tell me I am late applying to colleges. Should I just settle for a junior college for now? Ms. Bobby, I saw you shaking your head no.
Absolutely do not settle. Number one, I have nothing against our educational system, but it's just guidance counselors are overwhelmed. And I think, Tasha, you can attest to that, and Karen, and now maybe even Shania. The ratio of guidance counselors to students could be very well 60-1, right? Or more. And they just don't have the ability to really monitor what needs to be done and make sure that your child meets the deadline. And that's why we're having this forum. You guys as parents must stay involved.
Yes.
Just because they're in high school and almost going to college doesn't mean that they don't need their mother. In order for them to be successful, you need to partner with them. You need to collaborate with them. You need to build a strong team and look at that college list. No, it's not too late to apply to college. You can still apply to college. So let's get work. Let's get busy. Contact us. Have your mom contact us, and we will, guide her through the process of assisting you to make sure that you get your applications in to the colleges of your choice, not your guidance counselor's choice.
And I just want to add in that, Bobby, that yes, guidance counselors are overwhelmed, and there's also shortages within the New York City Department of Education. So you are going to have guidance counselors that, and I have to use the word lazy, and want to make the job as easy for them as possible. So it's never too late, but you apply to both. You apply to the colleges and universities that you want, and then you can also apply to a couple of the junior colleges or community colleges as a backup plan, just in case. But you don't ever settle.
And I just want to add too, there are so many different tours or programs or colleges. Historically, colleges have they have tours where you can go and visit the school. One of the programs that Jade and I participated in, we got on the bus and went to several different HBC schools, and we actually toured the campuses, presented them with essays and introductory material of what their accomplishments were or what their goals are. All of this was in a booklet where it was presented to the school, and they made decisions on the spot and provided, by the time we got back on the bus, scholarships was given out to the students at that time. So it's never too late to look at HBC schools because they are looking for you to come. And it's, I saw students who was able to get a scholarship, and he had not even a 2.0. So again, don't think that you may not be the best student, but they could look at what you're contributing, or what your extracurricular, or what your hobbies are, or just, your ability to want to go to college. And scholarships are given. So don't think that your child cannot participate or be a part of that process.
I just want to also add in, I know it was put in the chat, some colleges offer a late year, mid-year rolling admissions basis. So while some colleges might have a hard deadline of during the general college admission app process through the main portal, which tends to end, I think, like either late December or early January, some schools will take college applications all the way until March, April, even sometime as late as May. So if any person ever says to your child it was too late to apply to college, that is false. There are still schools that will be accepting applications. Obviously, it may not be your child's first choice, but it could still be a good stepping stone. And people keep forgetting that transferring is also an option. So you can start at a different school just to get your feet wet in college, and then understand like, oh, I actually now understand what I want to do if this is something I want to continue. So it's a short-term investment for a long-term plan. So keep that in mind. You don't have to go with the traditional pathways to get into school.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing your answers. I also wanted to remind that some schools have on-site admission, so they come to your school and do an interview. And I remember in my school, those occurred midwinter, early spring. So again, just reiterating the point, it's not too late. And let's say your guidance counselor said that it is, then go to another guidance counselor, go to a teacher, talk to your parent, talk to somebody else. And again, this is the purpose of this forum, so we can make connections and network, because we have resources, and we're going to get into that shortly, that we can share. So just because one person's telling you something, again, ask around, okay? You definitely have support, and don't let the one answer that you get determine your future, okay? You have time. It's not too late. All right, Miss Diane will recap our night.
Okay, so you ask yourself, what do I need to do? Well, for middle school students, I would say, plan for college now. Finances. What college am I going to go to? What type of college? Like we spoke about earlier. A good option that a lot of people don't think about is early college programs. Early college programs, you graduate from high school, you have an associate's, that's 2 free years under your belt. And you can either transfer into a four-year college as a transfer student, or go in with already having college credits. Be active, be present, get involved, join a PTA. Help your child develop good study habits. That is a must. A lot of kids, that's their downfall. Check in with your child, do check-ins. Enroll your child in extracurricular activity. I think we stress this quite often throughout this presentation. Engage your child socially. And please, please create a space for downtime. Everybody needs to decompress. On the high school level, we continue to research schools and delve into your major, the location, as Mr. Missick said, is it out of state, in state? There's a lot of things to consider. Request virtual tours. So we had COVID, things were locked down, things weren't as normal as they used to be, but you can request virtual tours. Please schedule meetings with the admissions officers. Get to know what the requirements you need, what subjects you'll need, things of that nature, so you can accumulate all that stuff prior to applying to the schools. Secure your recommendation letters as soon as possible. Even if you don't actually get the physical letter in hand, start talking to people and seeing if they're able to write a recommendation. You might approach someone to write a recommendation, and they might have 15 other recommendations to write, and you're not top priority. So start early. Submit your college applications. Take your time, be thorough, make your little list. There's a reach school, there's a safety school, and there's another list that it slips my mind. But have those categories set up and you apply that way. Gather financial documents, very important. Research scholarships. There are so many scholarships out there for everything that you could possibly think of. If you go to the EMH website, that would be empowermyhood, all one word, .org. We have all that information. Complete the FAFSA and TAP if applicable, because that's going to tell you if you are able to get any kind of financial aid, financial assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diane. As you can see, there's a QR code here. If you scan this QR code, it takes you to a folder of resources that we have for middle school and high school students. Resources in this folder include checklists, what your academic portfolio should look like, a financial aid checklist. So scan the QR code and we'll be updating it regularly. So make sure you keep it. We'll also be sharing this information on our site and on our social medias. So if you don't get it here, don't worry, you'll still be able to obtain the information. Right, Mr. Aaron will share our upcoming events.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, sorry about that. My laptop just went dead. Okay, so I guess I'm up. Okay, we'll discuss upcoming events. EMH will be hosting a series of informational workshops to facilitate a supportive college and career planning partnership with parents and students. Okay, those upcoming workshops will include a college planning series, financial aid overview with Ms. Vanessa Sparks, scheduled for next month. Just so you know, registration is required. Then we'll be having a career pathway workshop series featuring education, technology, marketing, social branding, communications, law, health, medical and mental health, arts and entertainment. You can register via the link below at emhinc.org, or you can use the QR code located on the lower right side of your screen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, if you scan that QR code, it takes you to our events page on emhinc.org. Ayana shared our website in the chat and it's also on this slideshow. If you scan this QR code, it takes you to the event page and you can register for future events and to be on our mailing list so you don't miss out. Again, this information will be shared publicly on all of our social medias. So again, don't fret. You'll have this information.
I will also send a follow-up email to those who registered with all the information as well.
Thank you, Jade.
You're welcome.
Now we'll have Ms. Bobby with our thank yous. Ms. Bobby, don't forget to unmute yourself.
You're right, Shania. I'm talking to myself. Well, thank you again for joining us this evening. This has been a full circle moment for me. The Parent Forum has been a vision of mine since establishing Empower My Hood back in 2011. It's important. I was a parent. I was in your shoes. I felt the pain. I didn't have anywhere to turn. I had to figure it out on my own. And as I did what I expressed to my daughter to do, surrounded myself with like-minded individuals and particularly my sisterhood. So this was very important, and I'm happy that we do have some participants tonight. Don't fret with the numbers. The word is getting out, and parents are reaching out, and we hope that that they'll come and reach out, and we can guide them. So I hope that you see the successes of the EMH Young Professionals are proof that our community can produce greatness. Our challenge tonight and going forward is to create and achieve repeatability, sustainability, appropriate resourcing, funding for community educational services. We won't stop. We're going to knock on every door until we get the funding we need to bring these services directly to you in our communities. I would like to extend a special thank you to our amazing audience, those who've joined us tonight, had to leave early, whatever, you joined. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating. Our elected officials, Councilman Ijanique Miller, who has served our District 27 so gracefully and effectively and has brought about change for 8 years. We will miss you, but this is not the end, and we're going to probably take you up on your note you said today about becoming a board member. We would love to have you. Our incoming councilwoman-elect, Ms. Natasha Williams, had a busy schedule today, and this happens. So we appreciate her. We will be working with her, and we understand that change does happen. Schedules do permit you from joining things that you plan to join. Tonight's moderator, Shania Patterson. Thank you, Shania. Fabulous job well done. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. Our panelists, parents, my committee members, my co-committee members. I have to say this is the first time that we actually took orders from our children, and it worked out. So the tables are turning. They are the future. Ed School of the Arts, a common denominator for a lot of our journeys, a lot of our stories. The legacy continues. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Last but not least, our amazing EMH young professionals for their collaboration and their direction. They are all gainfully employed with challenging careers and busy schedules of their own. So we're grateful that they took the time to help us shape the Parent Forum. So Shania, can we move to the next slide? Again, this is a recap of my amazing committee. Thank you all. We got here, we made it. So thank you for your participation and your help. Next, we mentioned ESOTA. If you want to find out any information for ESOTA, if you need further information, you can scan the QR code to the corner, right corner, bottom corner. ESOTA is now in the Jamaica Center for the Arts, and they are truly a dance legacy of Queens. Thank you, ESOTA, for being a part of our journeys. Next, I'll turn it over to Ayana. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. So last but not least, I just want to make sure that we're all able to remain in contact with each other. We have many avenues in which you can stay connected with Empower My Hood. Our Twitter is at Empower My Hood. Our Instagram is at EMHINC. Our website is actually, I think you could also achieve it from this link, but it's emhinc.org. And so that should be put in the chat. Our Facebook is Empower My Hood, and our email is also incorrect here, is info@emhinc.org. So please feel free to reach out to us. Lastly, we also have a QR code here that will take you to our donations page. We are a nonprofit organization, and our goal is to service our community, to bring educational services to our community and to our youth. So we really do appreciate all of your continued support, both monetary and non-monetary. So this is the QR code for our donation page, and it'll also take you, it's a page of our website, so you can access our website from there as well.
Thank you, Ayana. And with that, again, we want to thank everybody for attending tonight. This information will be shared widely. Ayana had just put in the chat our email address, info@emhinc.org. Please feel free to email us with any questions, concerns, comments. If you need help with advocating for your child at school, we're here and we got you, okay? Thank you for everybody for your kind words. I see them in the chat. We really appreciate it. And again, we're here for the community. And we hope to see you at our next event. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shania. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Thanks, Shania.
Thank you.